I think we could start and say a little bit of a hello to everybody. I'm very excited actually because I haven't seen some of you. We talk in emails, but if we don't have a specific meeting, we never tend to see each other, right? So I think it's great to see everyone. What I would like to do, and I think that could be kind of interesting because some of you know each other, but others don't know each other, right? And so what would be really great, I think, if we start with perhaps some introduction, who you are, how you got published in the series, like what's your book about, you know, like informal sort of conversation. I mean, this is not like a strict thing or anything. So because of how I'm looking, I'm gonna take it with how I'm looking at people. So maybe Elisa, you can kick us off, perhaps. Elisa, yeah.
Pleasure. Hello, everyone. My name is Elisa, and I work as a research fellow in the Department of Sociological Studies at the University of Sheffield. And I'm now working on an AHRC fellowship on the study of drones and in visual culture. The book that I published with Athina is titled Digital Life on Instagram, New Social Communication of Photography, and is basically the PhD, the result of the PhD research project that I developed when Athina was my first supervisor. And in a nutshell, the content of my book is focusing on how Instagram is changing the way we visually perceive the world, and is divided into thematic chapters that analyze various aspects of the use of Instagram in society, like how Instagram is changing the way we relate to each other, visual media marketing on Instagram, issues related to privacy and surveillance, how Instagram is changing the way we build our online identity, and how Instagram is changing the way we remember and share things. So this is in a nutshell me.
Thank you, Elisa. So now I'm looking at Christos, who is next to Elisa. So Christos, go on.
All right. So yes, obviously, judging by my name, I'm from Greece, and I'm currently saying hi from Athens, Greece, where I'm stranded. I work in Malaysia, which is, don't ask me how that happened. So yeah, this is the weird situation that we are in right now. I am working in a Malaysian university, and I am working from Greece, and now I'm saying hi to Athina, who is in England. So how I ended up publishing this book, I think that Athina is the main person who is responsible for this. Athina was the internal supervisor, the internal examiner in my PhD project. So she was very much responsible for how all the ideas developed, and she was very much responsible for putting me in line every year and making sure that I was in the right path, and I will be eternally grateful to Athina for that. So the book is called Journalism and Austerity, Digitization and Crisis During the Greek Memoranda. And what the book does, and what this research does, is that it takes a look at how the three Greek memoranda were framed by the Greek press and the Greek parties. When we started this project, we only had two memoranda. Then we ended up having a third one, which was really good for the project, really bad for life in general. So basically, my interest is in framing and frame building, and what we did, and Athina was one of the main reasons for that, was that we combined frame building with political economy. So I'm taking a look at this book at how framing theory intersects with political economy. And I do that on a theoretical basis and also on the empirical case study of Greece, seeing how the political parties framed the memoranda and then how each party was taking part in the dialogue as it was framed in the Greek press or was left out of it, and why, analyzing that through the lens of political economy. So yeah, I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Christo. Then I see next to Christo Elena Yanardoglu, who, well, you can tell us yourself how you got involved.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Athina, for bringing us all together. I think I met you in 2017, 16, in another conference in France. That was a while ago. And well, how I got involved in the book is again another conference that I was presenting my research on news consumption of young people, especially university students in Greece and Turkey. I'm from Istanbul Kadir Has University. I'm based there for the past 8 years. And I was interested in this work because when you look at the digital news reports in the last few years, it was basically for Greece and Turkey showing very high levels of social media use when accessing news. And I was really intrigued by this. So I wanted to do a qualitative work back in 2017 and 2018. And this is how I was involved in the book. And I think I might be the only Turkish contributor as far as I'm aware, which is an extra level of happiness for me, you know, to be considered among colleagues, those who are interested in this kind of work. And I'm interested in news consumption, but I'm interested in digital citizenship, every aspect of it. And I think news consumption and young people is a very important aspect of it, especially in contexts like Turkey and Greece, where there is a lot of reliance on social media compared to European standards. And I'm currently working on a manuscript myself, looking at the transformation of the media in Turkey, and whoever is particularly interested, I'm happy to share more details over the email or social media. So thank you very much for giving us this opportunity, Athina, and thank you for being here, everyone.
Perhaps if Peter Land is here and Suhan, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here. Why don't you go first, Shuan? You're the first author.
Okay, thank you. Hi, thanks, Peter. Hi, everyone. I'm Shuhan. I will just finish my job at the University of Sheffield as a postdoc research associate. And I'm going to start my new position at the University of Essex. My future research will focusing on the racial and the discrimination in healthcare sectors in the UK. And my book, co-authored with Peter, based on my PhD research. So Professor Peter Lunt is my first supervisor, and Athina is my second supervisor. And then they helped me develop my work on the Chinese social media. And so the book is basically based on my PhD research work, when I conducted like interviews and online observation among the Chinese social media users, especially the WeChat users, and through observing their work and observing their online practices, their interviewing their reflections of their online practices. So my work basically explored how the social media use affect their perceptions of themselves, how they present themselves online, and how they develop and sustain relationships, especially like with family members, friends, and future employers and colleagues, as well as how they act out their social, like their civil responsibilities in current China under the government's instruction of being positive in the like social and online environment. So yeah, so thank you for offering me this great opportunity. And if I miss something, like my Peter may help me to compensate that, may explain more about the book, about our work.
Okay, yeah, no, right. It's been a real pleasure working with Shuhan on this book, and for me personally, learning a lot about Chinese culture and history as well as the contemporary conditions for people living in China. I mean, one of the interesting things about the book is that the group we studied were people who'd mainly had migrated to Beijing, initially for university study, and then hoping to stay on and to work in Beijing. And what we were really interested in this group was because they, in one sense, are really committed to what is the new modernization of China. And in many senses, committed also to the sort of to the government of China and its projects. And what we were fascinated in was how they were sort of tying those commitments, those political commitments, and a strong awareness of the strength and power of Chinese regulation of media and the internet, and how they were setting that against the new freedoms that they also saw as being available to them through the same medium. And so there's sort of, in a sense, that became an analogy for both the displacement of their lives, being displaced from their traditional homes and communities and roots, and the sort of strong traditions of identity that come with that, and their immersion in the contemporary Chinese modernity, which has been a sort of helter-skelter of economic and social reform against a background of political, well, if we can call it stability, or if anything, a sort of strengthening of the party position. And so we were interested in their reflections of their social media group uses and practices as they reflected their attempts to come to terms with this extraordinarily dynamic and demanding life, and their understanding of themselves and their relations with their families and their relationships with other people in China. So the book explores that, and in a sense we've got this idea of face or personal identity, social identity, sociality, forms of social relations with family and friends, and civility. And this the way we've organized the book reflects this a sort of traditional Chinese conception of identity as being immersed in circles of culture. And in a sense, it's the mediation of this form of identity, where the person understands themselves as immersed in these different circles of culture that expand out with themselves, in a sense, at the center of it, which strongly commit them to the social relationships of tradition and family and to community, but then also to culture and to government. So and it was exploring those themes with these people that was interesting and exciting. Do you want to add anything, Shuhan?
No, I think it's covered everything like we talk about in our new book. And what we found very interesting is because when we were writing the book, there's one chapter we talk about the positive energy, which is promoting in China. And also very interestingly, during the COVID restrictions, the lockdowns in China and on the Chinese social media, and then the term positive energy combined with nationalism and patriarchy. Yeah. So it's again, they were using the same terms to managing not only the cyberspace, but also maintaining the social stabilities in the Chinese society. Yeah. So that's what our book kind can inspire in the future research as well, which is we find very interesting. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was intrigued by the positive harmony, positive thing. That was really intrigued me in the thesis actually as well. Is Alex Gregg here?
Yeah, I am.
Great.
Thank you, Athina. Oh, do you want me to do my party piece then?
Yes, what is your party piece? Because you're all about post-truth. So from another conference, actually some of this is happening from conferences, from incredible times we had in Malta when the world was different and we were swimming away, and it was one of the most beautiful conferences I've been to, the one you've organized there, that was in 2019 in the fall, right, in October, right?
Yeah. Athina insisted on going swimming when everybody else was decided it was too cold to swim, but Athina was determined to swim. So I first met Athina in 2011, and I think I was gate crashed into her conference because I had just started my PhD by my supervisor. So probably Athina said, "Who the hell is this guy?" And that's the first time I ever presented anything, I think. So that's how I got to know Athina. Yeah, and then of course was a huge fan of her Facebook, pronouncements, like I'm sure you all are, and in the great oracle of wisdom, I think. And so that's me and Athina. What do? I teach new media at the University of Malta for my sis. That's not my real gig, I guess. I basically have been. I got into academia late in my life, having worked in, I guess, strategy and technology for most of my working life, and I guess the 2019 event which Athina's talking about came about through as I was thinking that I had found myself in education, but I knew a lot of people in media, orthodox media, journalism, that kind of stuff, and I knew a lot of people in technology. And I was just wondering whether all of the stuff that people were involved in media, technology, and education was making things worse, not better, really. And that was my point of departure. All of this stuff, us trying to educate people, whatever that means, and us meddling around with technology. I mean, by that time, I had got very immersed in the blockchain, decentralization, DLTs, and things like that. And I guess I had a certain affinity to journalism. My PhD was on blogging as a disruption of hegemony. I had kind of crashed Gramsci into blogging, which for me, I mean, from my generation, if you said the wrong thing when I was growing up, you'd get jailed or tear gassed like we did. Blogging was, I guess, a route to some sort of freedom. The book, the book is, here's the book. So, I mean, all of you guys have presented books. I don't know if you can see it. So I got the proofs here. I think it's being published in July. Essentially, there's 20 chapters. So it's my introduction and 19 other people scattered around the world. Some of them were in the same conference as Athina was. I can send you the link if you want to see Athina battling with people building things, and Athina saying, "Why do you build things?" It was very interesting, actually. And I was trying to get these, and I had to chair this thing, try to get them on an even keel. Okay, and so Athina waving her finger at people. It's true, you do remember that. It was actually one of the best sessions we had. And so I guess the book reflects some of those people who are obsessed on building their way out of a crisis. Other people trying to write about crisis and Trumps and things like that. My own brother, who's an editor of the Times of Malta, for instance, when the conference was happening, there was a huge crisis here because our only famous blogger, come journalist, had been killed, and the people who had done it were sort of, being brought to justice. And my brother was behind it. He was actually looking underneath his car on the day he actually presented at my conference, to make sure nobody had put a bomb underneath it. So it was a very tense atmosphere around the conference. I didn't tell those people. And I think what the book does is it kind of reflects tensions, optimism, and people writing about Karl Marx and the blockchain, for instance, which is one of the chapters in this book. And what I wanted to do was really have these desperate voices, because I mean, from, does the post-truth actually exist, to, of course, Trump was looming behind all of this stuff. So that's what the book is all about, really. you can start it from whenever you want to start it, choose whatever chapter you want, but there will be people with strong voices, I guess. So that's my book.
Thank you, Alex. So in the matter of this, maybe is Maria Rovisco here? I've seen her pop in, and I thought
Yes.
I would ask
Yes,
you
I'm
to
here.
say hello before you need to go and do all sorts of things, children and everything. So I thought I would catch you.
No, I've just arrived. I was late.
Now that you're here.
Yes.
So how are you doing? How did you contributed, I think, to the God? I mean, you contributed to with Anastasia, right? In the
What chapter?
Yeah, in
I
the
can't remember
Greek
which
book or the Protest Technologies book. I'm
The
really
Protest Technologies.
Yes,
There's so many, Athina. You
God knows. Yeah, I found yeah. So tell us a bit about the work that you did there with Anastasia, who unfortunately couldn't make it today, but who edited the book.
Oh, Athina, I wasn't ready to talk about it. I can't remember which publication is that. I think it's the one.
Okay.
I wasn't ready to talk about it, but I think it's the chapter from one of the conferences you organize in Amsterdam. Is it?
Yes, the with Poulakivakos, right? Is that,
Yes.
am I thinking the right thing?
Is it the one about the
micro movement, isn't it?
The micro movement in Greece.
Yeah.
Yes, that movement in Greece where they just cut the electricity in certain places, and it was a form of everyday resistance, which wasn't a form of mass protest. So we did a small chapter around that. Yeah, that was very interesting. Obviously, I can't read Greek, but it was fun to work with Stamatis and Anastasia and read the interview transcripts they did. And we're actually doing something now, a follow-up edited book with Stamatis on forms of micro-resistance. So that was very, very interesting to look at protest beyond mass protests, mass scale, and how forms of everyday resistance and solidarity can also be a form of activism.
Thank you. Can I ask Baruch? Is Baruch here? It's like I feel like I'm a bit of a DJ here. It's like, who do I want to hear from now? If he's around, I've seen him here.
Yes, hi, Athina, can you hear me?
Well, I thought of forms of micro-resistance, and then immediately I thought about you somehow. I don't know what that means. Maybe spending time with you in Berlin, like maybe that's like all the flashes there,
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can
sound okay. Yeah, I mean, I had one call today and the sound was not working, so I'm paranoid now that the sound is not working. Oh, hi. So first of all, thank you, Athina, for bringing us all together. It's amazing. Athina, you are a social and intellectual vortex, bringing such amazing people together. And I guess this kind of meeting would never be possible that all of us would meet in the same space in real life. But here we are together, and I see Michael there. Some of you I've met before, and Jen McCall, who I've interacted with a lot. Amazing to see that you actually exist. So very nice that you're here. And also Ellie Serafinelli, who I brought down to The Hague a long time ago. That was, thank you for coming at that time and still using your research. That was really good. So yeah, so thank you, Athina. That yeah, well, we can talk about very, very small infinitesimal activism. Of course, I'm concerned with the generation of digital information at the nanoscale, at the level of the electronic charges in computer architecture and in the hardware. That's where I successfully, I think, contest all claims of immateriality, immaterial labor, immaterial culture. All those things can be grounded materially once you get down to it, how your computer actually works, how I am managing to appear here on your screen and be audible and all those things right now, right here. So yeah, that's what my book is about. I think it really can still help us ground our critiques and our understanding of the political turmoil that we're in with regard to, let's say, fake news and misinformation and all these things. I think if you look at who owns the hardware, that's always a very good place to start. If you're wondering why things are the way they are and not the way that they were promised to be, or that the way that we had hoped them to be on the internet. So the book it looks like this. Very happy that it came out, and I don't think, I mean, it's really a great collaboration with you, Athina, always. I'm looking forward to the next one, and hope I'll get to meet all of you also.
Thank you, Baruch. Is Michael Sandorf? Can we have Michael here?
Yep, right here. Hi guys, I'm in
He
Seattle.
appears.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Okay. I'm in Seattle, a beautiful sunny day. I think the rest of you have already had your beautiful sunny day. I'm working at the University of British Columbia. And my book is all Athina's fault too, just like everybody else's, I think. It's a little bit of an outlier. It's more of it's a critique of digital media studies and a way of kind of reintegrating all of the basis of digital media studies in with the rest of the way that we understand communication and language. So thinking about things like embodiment and the way that we understand how communication works and how language works and how this ties in to digital media and the way communication works online, rather than online communication being something completely different and strange. So in a way, it ties to the kind of things that Baruch is talking about, where there really is a material reality to all of this. We're not just out floating around in space. And so the book itself is sort of a meta-theoretical way of looking at things to ground some of the other more particular kinds of activism and digital media studies and new ways of looking at those things. But I'm really glad that I got to do it. I think it provides a very interesting sort of, not necessarily a counterpoint, but different perspectives than some of the other more detailed and empirical or ethnographic positions that are taken in the rest of the series. So I'm really glad I got to do it. And I'm very thankful to Athina for roping me in and keeping me going and keeping me on track, because it probably wouldn't have gotten done at all if it wasn't for her. So thank you, Athina.
Thank you, Michael. It's always, yeah. That's actually like, I think that this is very interesting what you say, because it looks like I'm obsessing sometimes, where it's just sending emails like, well, what's happening, you know? So yeah. So I'm glad at least you appreciated that bit, because I don't think many people do, frankly. How about Evie? I see Evie here, who is
I can no longer hear you for some reason.
Sorry. I don't know. Sometimes on and off. Yeah. So how are you? You're a part of the Northern Lights movement that is happening.
See, and my picture is next to yours, so it looks like we're all.
Yeah.
It's very nice to meet you actually for the first time in real life, and to meet all of you, and what an honor to be amongst you. I've only done a chapter in this book that came out a few months ago about Greek media. And as everybody's saying, I think because of Athina and also Anastasia, who I work with at Bournemouth University, that's how I got kind of into this, in the group of cool people. It was the first time that I actually wrote about something to do with Greece, although I am Greek, and so it was an amazing opportunity. I mainly write about radio and audio and podcasting and all this stuff, and so I was asked whether I could contribute something about where kind of Greek audio media are at the moment. And so I wrote about kind of where web radio is and kind of podcasting. And I couldn't find much about kind of the new landscape, but because I hadn't written anything about Greek media before, I had to do a lot of reading. And actually, I heavily quoted from somebody that I'm also very happy to meet for the first time, Labrini Papadopoulou. I think I've quoted you very heavily in that chapter. So thanks for that. And yeah, it was just a great experience for me, great honor. I'm hoping that's kind of a, you know, a starting point where I can write more about Greek stuff, and I don't know. It's just gonna be here, I guess, and just thank you everybody for the opportunity.
Actually, the same happened to me. It's hard to read a lot of stuff because I never written anything about Greece. Well, very little about Greece. So I had to read a lot about Greece and Greek media. So I had the same experience. I enjoyed it for the same reason. And Anastasia, I mean, that it's my time to say that book would not have happened without Anastasia Avenetti. Yeah. So if you talked about Labrini, if Labrini is here, I think you passed on to the next person, really.
Yeah, I'm here, Athina. Thank you very much, and thank you, Evie, for all taking such a good care of my job, and that you liked it. Hi everyone. Yes, I'm Labrini Papadopoulou. Currently, I'm an adjunct lecturer at Pandion University here at Athens. So how did I ended up in Athina's and Anastasia's book? It's quite strange because actually my main research interests evolve around issues such as alternative media, cooperative media in Greece, the political economy of the Greek media ecosystem, etc. But apart from these issues, I'm also working as a professional journalist for the last 15 years or so. So I noticed that a lot of my colleagues who have been covering the economic crisis for the last 10 years, they were being, after all this, after covering the crisis, they were more or less in a state of total pessimism, and they weren't doing okay, And so with another colleague of mine, Theodora Maniou, who is not here right now with us, we talked about it a bit, and we thought that it would be quite interesting to take a look at the Greek and the Cypriot journalists who are covering the economic crisis in both countries, and see whether these experiences have altered them, whether these experiences have impacted them severely. And yes, this is what we actually found, that we found a very high rate of PTSD among them, which means that covering the economic crisis as a professional, and actually after 10 years into the memorandum, etc., everything has become, every beat is a crisis beat. So even people covering the environment, or of course the financial issues, or even everyday issues, or even crime, they were all severely impacted, and that was very disturbing. We also recorded a very disturbing culture of stoicism and of silence in the newsrooms, meaning that no one would talk about it, and that they took it as a part of the job description. But this is not actually what should happen, because abroad in BBS, in BBC, CNN, etc., they have a kind of debriefing every time journalists are facing such issues. So in Greece and Cyprus, this is not happening. And I think that it was quite interesting that we had the opportunity to record this phenomenon for the first time, and even record some kind of remedies that they suggested that would help them be healthy, because being healthy is the first step to be able, to cover this kind of issues. So this was our contribution to this amazing book, and I'm saying this not because I contributed to it, because I actually read everything. So thank you very much, Athina.
Thank you. Can we hear from Sola? Because we're gonna go a little bit away from Greece and go to Nigeria.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Yes. So I currently work at the University of Leicester, and my book is the product of my PhD, which was kindly supervised by Athina. The title of the book is Digital Activism and Cyber Conflicts in Nigeria. And so what I looked at here was the digital and organizational aspects of conflict mobilization across sociopolitical and ethno-religious movements in Nigeria. So movements like the Occupy Nigeria movement, I looked at Boko Haram, and I also looked at the movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta. But the focus was mainly on ICT uses. The cyber conflict framework was very instrumental for my work, as it's helped to tie in the sociopolitical, ethno-religious, and the media aspects for my book. So it's been a very interesting journey, and I'd like to thank Athina for the opportunity, and I look forward to further opportunities to publish with the series.
Thank you, Sola. Is Jeremy here? So we need to go to France now, I think.
Hello. Well, I am Jeremy. I'm talking to you from Paris. I'm a PhD from Leeds and School of Media and Communication. My PhD was supervised by David Sandorf and David Lee. I'm currently assistant professor at Audencia and associate member of a research lab at Sorbonne Paris Nord called LabSIC. How did I met Athina? I don't know, it was a while ago, probably during a conference, a while ago. And since then, she's been a great help in navigating through this thing that we call academia. And for a young scholar, young researcher, this is quite a thing to find someone you can talk to about all this. And I'm very happy as well, to meet you all, but also to see even virtually Jen and Kimberly actually. So quite briefly about the book project, because it's I still have to, hand in the manuscript, which is because it's not finished yet. It's adapted from my PhD thesis, but it's not done yet. So it's the next thing on my to-do list. Athina, I can reassure you, it's I think about that. But it's it kind of like it's a empirical study of independent musicians based in Brooklyn, San Francisco, Portland, Stockholm, and Paris. And it considers how experiences of precariousness and insecurity under a condition of neoliberalism threatens the well-being and self-realization of aspiring musicians. We know that there have been several studies, and there is a growing body of literature on that, on working lives of cultural workers. But I feel that there is something I could maybe try to add to this debate, is the maybe like what is the psychosocial impact on working lives of individuals. So I asked 3 questions. What is the psychosocial impact of precariousness on participants working in the independent music industries? But also, and that's maybe more important, what are the coping strategies and defense mechanisms they use to bear the struggle between what we call organized self-realization, the idea that we have to become someone, somehow we have to choose our own path in life, and with the fantasies we can have about the good life, and the uncertainty of daily life under neoliberalism. And so I looked at this coping mechanism or defense mechanism and coping strategies through the lens of several social variables, such as gender and social class backgrounds as well. Well, it's, of course, people don't willingly embrace neoliberal incentives. So develop a complex, what I've found is that they develop a complex set of coping strategies and defense mechanisms that helps them to bear with the daily life under neoliberalism. But on midterm and long term, that's problematic because it prevents them from self-realization and from well-being. One of them, it's maybe the most obvious one, would be the refugee to bohemianism, for instance. It's better to see yourself as a bohemian than a poor, for instance. So precariousness in that sense extends beyond just economic precariousness, but also I consider social precariousness and, the kind of like daily struggle we are into in daily life. So in order to do that, in terms of like literature, in terms of the body of literature and theory, I'm trying to make a link between political economy of the media and moral economy, and maybe sociology, psychology, and cultural studies. So in a nutshell, it's what I'm trying to do in this book. And thank you so much again for the opportunity to present it and to hopefully come back to you all with a book. It's somewhere here, so it's true. That's it's not finished. Yeah, thank you.
Well, yeah, I'll be on your case, Jeremy. Well, you come to me and I go to Peter Land for advice. It's like a thing, like we go, each one goes somewhere, right? So that's how it goes. Is Galina here? I have seen her earlier. Is she still here? I don't know. Maybe not. Okay. How about Petros Iosifidis? Petra, are you here? I was going to talk to you in Greek.
Yes, I'm here, Athina. Hi, hello.
Hi, I've never met you, so hello.
Hello, shall we speak in Greek or no? No, probably not. So thank you very much. Can I add my name into the list of people thanking you for inviting me and Dimitris Boukas, of course, to co-author one chapter in your book. So I have read this book with a great interest. It has already made an impact, I think, because it covers a wide range of issues of the Greek media environment, the ecology, and I think that it has already made an impact, and it will be a great contribution to the body of knowledge. So it's very nice to see some of you people that I know, like the Lambrini, Dimitris, of course, and you, Athina. With some of you, we haven't had a chance to meet face to face. It's these situations like this, I mean, lockdowns make us, organize these online meetings, and sometimes it's a good opportunity to meet face to face, virtually anyway. so it's a good idea. So the article that we contributed to the co-edited book is on alternative media in Greece with Dimitris, and since then I have moved a bit to what some of you mentioned earlier on about fake news, misinformation, disinformation. I published 2 months ago a book on that, exactly on fake news, social media, and disinformation, with my former PhD student Nicholas Nikolai from Cyprus. He's now an associate professor there, I'm pleased to say. And we published that book on the fake news, and we organized also an online book launch, and it was well attended. So I suppose that events like this make us, bring us together. So thanks again for the invitation, and really, really nice to see you around.
Is Dimitris here then? That maybe he wants to say something as well. I don't know. I think I've seen him come in and out, but I cannot keep track sometimes.
You are muted, Dimitri.
Hello, I'm right next to you, Athina, at least as far as
everybody's next to me when they're on the thing, but I'm not, that changes. Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. Nice to meet you all. Hello from me, Dimitris. My name is Dimitris Boukas. With Petros, as Petros mentioned, we contribute a chapter on the edited collection, and not much to say really, apart from perhaps mentioning that how critical the the contribution of the volume is, particularly in the current situation of news crisis in Greece and other countries. But if I can speak about Greece, I mean, many of us know the censorship situation at the moment in our country, which has included social media recently. So in this respect, writing about alternative media, I suppose, makes some sense and is of importance. So nice to see you all. Thank you very much. And thanks for the opportunity to contribute.
Thank you, Dimitri. Is Dennis here? That brought into mind some of your work about the, if he is.
I mean, yes, thanks for having me here today. My name is Dennis. I work at the University of Applied Sciences in Utrecht in the Netherlands, where I co-manage, co-coordinate master's program Data-Driven Design. It's a program where we try to bring together humanities, social sciences, and computer sciences and design to hopefully educate critical technology shapers at the end. And that's also where my research connects as a postdoc. Currently, I work on the public perception and, discourse on big data AI, also with an eye on data bias and algorithmic discrimination. But before I switched in that direction, I did my PhD, and that's how I know Athina, on not so much on how we talk about technology, but back then how technology is changing discourses. So under Athina's firm and very valuable leadership, I managed to finish my PhD a couple of years ago on the Eurozone crisis as a digital discourse. So I had a look at how the internet between 2012, 11 and 15 basically played a role in the Eurozone crisis discourse. And that did not lead to a book that I published with this publisher that was published somewhere else. But this research brought me together with another of Athina's PhD students, Joanna Ferra, who cannot be here today, I believe. And the two of us, we're always interested in social media and discourses and framing and networks and these sort of things. And we had a look for one study into, the role of Twitter during Brexit, and the Catalan referendum. And that little paper where we explored the network dynamics and the framing of these movements and what we can, learn from that for the impact of technology on protest movements, that found its way into, I hope you can see it, this little nice book where also some others of you contributed to. And that's basically how I ended up here. I know Athina, and there are a lot of overlaps in our research interests, obviously, and I'm always happy when she, gives me and her other former PhD candidates, students, an opportunity to publish. So, yeah. That's basically it.
Thank you, Danny. So how is the Netherlands doing with the vaccination? I've heard some horrid stories there. Like, I don't know which ones are more horrid, the Greek ones or the Dutch ones, or which ones?
It's getting worse by the minute. I mean, today everybody's talking about AstraZeneca is on hold, and now another brand, Janssen, I think here, a local with the Ryan, is on hold, and everybody's losing hope. And we already decided the whole next academic year is probably also a digital academic year. At least we're betting on that because it doesn't really look like things going to change soon.
You know what? I don't know when this was, but it was at the very beginning of the pandemic. and I think we were having some meeting or other or something like that, where you said to me, well, Athena, at least we're gonna die doing what we love. And I thought that was the spirit. And wherever I was, wherever I was pessimistic, I was like, you know, that is what Daddy says. We're gonna die doing what we love. So I thought that was quite inspirational when you said that. I think it's Wei Kui here. Wei? We're like talking of pandemics and crisis communications. You are definitely on mute from what I can see. Well, maybe she's here and not here, the Zoom way. Well, I was so,
Hi.
Hi. Is it midnight in China or something like that?
Hello. Hi.
Oh yes, we can hear you. We can't see you. If that's intentional, that is absolutely fine.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't speak very loudly because my roommate is has fallen asleep.
Is it like nightclub time there? Then it must be. Yeah. Sorry about that. Time differences. So crisis communication way. Yes, you are the it girl now. So tell us about that, about your book.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. This book is basically based on my PhD research, and it attempts to explore the crisis communication strategies adopted by the Chinese government by using the public health crisis of H7N9, the bird flu, happened in 2013 as a case study. And this book tries to highlight two critical factors that influence the employment of crisis communication strategies by the Chinese government. One of them is cultural values, such as power distance, collectivism, and citizen avoidance. And the other one is digital technology. And this is an empirical study based on the collection and the analysis of media sources, press conferences, transcripts, and public social media posts. And I think the main idea of this book is to explore how Chinese cultural context and digital technologies have shaped the government communication during the public health crisis. So I think I can see the one contribution is to rethink or challenge the Western established crisis communication theories, such as the situational crisis communication theory, through analyzing the unique transcultural character, transcultural factors within the different crisis situation, and also, I think this work might also provide some suggestions for the Chinese government or other authorities with similar structures to deal with the similar health crisis in the future. Yeah, I think this is the information about the book.
Thank you, Wei. And now back to the UK and Leicester, or are you not in Leicester, Callum? Callum, are you here? Are you in Leicester, or you're back home?
I'm back home, as you'll be able to see in a minute. Let me see if this works for you. Oh, hang on. Where are you? This should be working. You can see just how professional it is.
Cameras, there is something about.
Yeah, failed to start the video camera. That's strange. Well, you know what? Let's forget that for now. I'm a bit raggedy anyway. I'm not gonna lie. Been a little unwell. Not with you know what, of course. Just in general, I think. But so where to begin? But yeah, sorry. So I'm Callum. So yeah, obviously, currently in Bradford, sealed away there for somewhere approaching a year. now, so that's been interesting. But otherwise teaching remotely as before. So when did I meet Athina? Oh, that would have been somewhere around the 2013 mark, give or take, if I've got my numbers right. So back in Hull it would have been, which is a place that I occasionally think about going back to. And it was nice. So that was there I started to get interested in ideas of digital politics and then sort of things like that, which mysteriously enough, I've ended up helping out on sort of those modules a lot myself. So, you know, strange times, I suppose. But that's been very fun. Now, is that, of course, at all what my book is about? The answer is no, not even slightly. So my book, Posthumanism in Digital Culture, so that deals with something entirely different, or maybe not. So that would be topics of transhumanism and posthumanism. So changing the body, changing, you know, what we are as people, which can, you know, sounds all very, you know, high tech and sci-fi, but of course that can be, you know, quite far from the truth. So, I mean, look at everyone right now, sort of connected via the internet, connected via sort of all these sort of means, which is of course something that, yeah, obviously wouldn't have been possible quite some time ago. And yeah, so the book itself is just sort of how, like, looking at how this sort of theories become interlaced quite largely through sort of media, film and video games in particular, which is what I like to focus on. And yeah, because that's the thing, anthropocentrism, which is something my book focuses quite a bit on as well. We reflect a lot of fears of the times, and certainly in the last 10 years, these ideas of changing bodies and changing identities has been quite central to what we consume from a media point of view, which of course is going to change, you know, as with the events of the last year and sort of the upcoming events of the next probably 10. I'm going to put it this way: you're probably going to see quite a lot of stuff on sort of, you know, virology and sort of pandemics. That's par for the course. But at any rate, again, Athina's been helpful, very helpful in allowing me to sort of finish this work. So again, this would have been or rather is a transliteration of what my PhD was, with a little couple of tweaks here and there. Again, she's helped very much keep me on track, because after all, yeah, it's a lot of hard work and deadlines are well, tricky to say the least. But like I said, thanks a lot for your help. And like I said, it's been fun sort of meeting everyone and sort of listening to what all of these sort of different works are about. I think Peter and Shuhan's work in particular, again, having embroiled myself quite a lot in the digital politics spheres, it's something I definitely want to get a hold of. But yeah, anyway, I think that's me more or less.
Thank you, Carlo. What I would like to do is invite Jen, I think, first, who was the former editor of the series, and Kim as well. Now that you have met everybody, like, and I invite you to, first of all, to thank you both, because I haven't worked with better editors. I mean, honestly, like, it's like rapid fire. I think this is what it is. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been. Like, I think we have 19 books. Like, maybe they're gonna be 20. Like, some are already out. I think more than half are out, and they're coming out. So I think it was because of Jen, and if she's here to tell us a little bit about how she feels about the series, and then maybe Kim as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about, put me on the spot, Athina.
I have to.
Yeah, no, it's been a brilliant experience. I think I met you very early days when I first joined Emerald, when we were just setting up the books program, because we'd been very much a journals focused
Well,
publisher.
I said, I don't want to talk to you. What was it that I said? I think you called me up because I wasn't replying in any emails. I was like, what is it?
I don't remember. Just remember you, yeah, took a bit of persuading. Yeah, and we've had such a nice relationship. It's been such a pleasure, and it's been so rapid to grow, and brilliant authors. And I've really enjoyed it. And I don't work on books anymore, but I'm still at Emerald, and I still take a very healthy interest in seeing the books come out, and I still have a kind of reach into the books program, but Kim, you're in some very, very safe hands with Kim, who I've worked with since I joined Emerald, and is I know incredibly passionate about the series and supportive.
Oh, I'm just taking all the credit for your hard work now. Now that the series is so well established, I'm just going to take all the credit for it.
What I really love about the series is that it's very broad in terms of the kind of scholars that we're publishing, and I know that that was something that you really were very passionate about, Athina, when we spoke initially, was around supporting the work of people who've been through writing their PhDs, their thesis, and all the work that goes into that, and some attitudes from some publishers where there's less reception to, there's less openness to publishing adapted PhD theses, and so it's lovely to have a venue for that, and all the work that goes into revising a thesis so that it becomes a viable book. I know is a lot to take on as well, but I love the fact that we also publish established scholars as well, so it's kind of a broad church and edited collections and handbooks and shorter works. So I think it really works in terms of its flexibility, and obviously the global nature of the authors is fantastic. That really has stood out this evening, so I think that's what I found really enjoyable. So thank you, it's lovely to see you all.
Sorry, my dog's just started barking. But yeah, I'd echo everything that Jen's just said. And so for those of you who don't know me, because I only know people who are currently writing, and who have just recently published, like Peter and Shen. But so I've just newly become associated with the series because Jen moved to a new role. So I now work with Athina as a publisher of the series, but have been I've been at Emerald for far too long now, and have been working on books for a long time. And previously, before, I now cover lots of subject areas, including kind of technology and media and communication studies. But before that, had just been working on kind of education and politics books, and now do all of that as well too. But one of the things, just to echo what Jen has just said, one of the things that's really impressive, we know we launched quite a lot of series in kind of 2017, 2018 when this series was born, and this is one of the ones that has kind of grown the most rapidly and had the most kind of engagement and, like Jen said, international kind of authorship and people from all different, although you're all kind of united by common themes around media and communication and kind of digital culture. There's so many kind of interdisciplinary and far-reaching topics that are explored throughout the series, which just makes it kind of a joy to read the books and to have as a kind of part of a whole altogether. But yeah, there's lots of series that we launched at kind of similar times that just that have done brilliant things but haven't grown to the sheer extent that this has. So I think it's real testament to obviously to Athina, but also to this kind of community of scholarship that you have. And I look forward to there finally being conferences again, so hopefully I can meet some of you in person at them.
That is, yeah, we all hope that. Let's see what happens. I'm just a little bit worried whether I forgot anybody here, because if I have, then you need to like come out and say, you forgot about me, what about me? I think I haven't. I don't know. With Jen saying I'm moving, I was like, do I really need to keep doing this? Like, is this like a good idea? But then because I spoke to Kim and I found that there's gonna be exciting to work with her, and and there might be, in fact, in a way, other scholars that are coming up, or a work that is really interesting. I hope it's not going to be all about the post-apocalyptic administration or governance of digital media. It's going to be, not the only thing that we're going to talk about, hopefully. So this is from me. So if anyone has anything to say, I know it is not easy to have a social kind of sociality through this, but it was really good to see everyone. I'm open in, you know, if anyone wants to share something or say something more, they're very, very welcome.
I have a very short comment.
Yes, please.
I'm very happy that Kim's dog kind of interjected in the meeting, because is it really a Zoom meeting if our pets are not involved? I mean, where are the cats? Doesn't anybody here have a cat?
I did see Elise's baby in the background a minute ago, so that's something.
Yeah, I mean, I have a cat that is extremely lonely at the moment. My son and my wife flew out on Monday. My son is currently incarcerated in Oxford, doing his quarantine and being fed the equivalent of dog food rather than cat food, and being told that he can't even get takeaways because otherwise he'll get arrested. That's the state of, you know, UK higher education at the moment. So at the moment I'm trying to see, you know, whether he's still alive, I think, in terms of WhatsApp. I mean, we live in strange times. Okay, and the cat, I'm expecting the cat to be headbanging any moment soon, so we better get on.
Sounds that it's not just the cat that is only lonely, Alex. Like maybe it's you as well.
Yeah. I have a good stash of single malt whiskey, actually, which is, you know, I'm kind of looking at very fondly at the moment.
That's Christos' preferred medicine, I think, as well, from what I recall. Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. And hopefully next time we get to do this, we'll meet in person and we'll share a proper drink.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I mean, like seeing you all missing the real world more than I did before this this get together. So I don't know, like, if it was such a good idea after all, because I'm going like, now I can't really be with people. It's like almost like a reminder, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, thank you for organizing and getting us all together, Athina.
Well, thank you all for coming as well. I mean, it's nothing if you organize something. That's a constant fear, isn't it? Like, yeah, I'm organizing this, and then no one will show up. It's like this kind of thing. Yeah, it's like every time. So yeah, so I think fantastic. It's good to see everyone. Definitely. Yeah. Is somebody talking now? I don't know. I wanted to say something. No. Well, if that is the case, I think.
Well, maybe also.
Oh, Peter. Yes,
well, I think individually people have said it, but I mean, obviously, collectively, we should all say, what a brilliant job you've done with this, Athina. How enthusiastic you've been, how you've come forward and encouraged us to get involved in the series and to put our work out there, and then followed up and supported us. So a big thank you to you for all of that, I think.
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Yes, I mean, let's do more good things, good enough things, great things.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Well, thank you all. I'm gonna stop now recording.